difficult time for Mark, yeah.
Goodbye, my dear.
I think she was looking for fame. And Mark, I'm sure he doesn't mind fame, but he's not looking for it in the same way. You know, he doesn't value fame, and he doesn't really value the opinion of a load of famous people who don't particularly care for him.
Mark's personal life was always entangled with the Fall.
Last week, after a dinner steal, I had crow's feet under my eyes. Paid 2 days for getting high.
They all felt dead sorry for me, you know, blokes on the dole in the fucking pub like going, it's a pint, Mark, come on. So all that happens to us all, lads, you know, and all that, you know, it's like, it's alright, you know, it's just...
These are the finest times of my life. This is the greatest time of my life.
I mean, Mark just seemed to keep working through things, like whenever things happen like that in his life, he just seemed to keep working through it, you know. There was never like, I'm going to take a break for 6 months or anything like that.
This is Craig's tribute to Frank Zappa. Now we can all laugh about this, but this is his tribute to Frank, and so it's called I'm Frank.
Just about to do our first album for Phonogram, and Bricks left and Martin Brahma came back for that, for Extra Cake. I mean, we all liked Martin anyway because he was the original guitarist, so we're quite chuffed to have him back in the band, I think.
You know, even with Mark, the strangest things you just take for granted. You know, you would just think, you know, he needed some kind of replacement for Bricks. Maybe the best way would be go back to the very beginning. You know, maybe some strange notion that he could get a bit of the formula back.
How dare you assume I want to pal with you? Sorry to be so sure with you.
It didn't really work out in him rejoining, I don't think, because it was like, when they formed it was probably equal, you know, he was as much as his band as Mark's, but then when he'd rejoined he had to take a bit of a back seat.
The 24th session for the programme, as far as we know. The band have recorded sessions for the programme pretty much every year. The session's been 82, 89, 97, not quite sure how that happened. And then for some reason there were no more sessions after 98 until 2003. John, can you tell us why this was, it says here? Breakdown in communications, I think probably the best reason I can give you.
I wrote this script for this. You know, like, I'd come in and start shouting at you because you haven't on the track. So why have you done the fucking track, son?
Well, we just thought, because you got in the pub, we thought we'd better sort of...
Don't say that to me.
Oh, sorry.
Don't you say that to me.
You've been working hard. Sorry,
Yeah.
boss. Sorry, boss.
Yes, sorry, boss. What kind of word's that? You are only a drummer. I am Backstreet.
I am only
Big shot.
When we think of the Fall as a group, this is one of his more brilliant illusions, that he's kept that idea that the Fall has been going for 25, 30 years. But in a funny sort of way, there's been about 30 or 40 groups that Mark E. Smith has had.
Well, there've been so many of them. I mean, go out and do a straw poll, I mean, you could go outside the door now and probably bump into somebody who's been in the Fall.
But he got this thing, reputation as like, as a sack master, you know what I mean? Keep firing people and all that. This is even like common knowledge now, even anywhere I go now, people on the street go, you're the one who's had all them group members. I don't see what the problem is.
Obviously it's become almost a kind of joke, except to the people concerned, the kind of passage through the Fall, and then by and large people then disappear without a trace after they've gone, which always seems to me to be, I don't know whether he's killing them or what.
You have to be a fairly strong person, I think. There was quite a few musicians who didn't, and people around the band who didn't last very long.
It's not like an ordinary group. People do it because they love it. They do it for nothing or they do it for a lot of money. But they will fucking do it.
I noticed in the 90s that what was happening with Mark E. Smith was what had once been sort of almost sympathetically registered in a certain area as the old curmudgeon or whatever, or the old fart, but what a genius. He suddenly became, a fucking asshole, I guess is the phrase. He's suddenly become you know, not you realise that there was large parts of Mark E. Smith that were not very nice.
I don't think he's made his behaviour any better by his tremendous use of drugs and speed and various things that would make his nerves worse. But he's a tough character. It shows on his face. It shows on his face as he's a hardline drinker. It shows on his face that he's a tough guy.
There came a moment when it turned, and that abuse that we'd put down to just him living on the edge and the speed and the booze, it started actually to be something that was really, you know, clearly just affecting him as an individual. That was the moment when you kind of thought, oh my God, you know, what if he wasn't a genius? He was just an old drunken tramp that when he got really drunk started to spout phrases that made a kind of sense, and we read too much into it, you know. Just a little bit of that started to come into it, you know.
The grass, the guitar will make a song, and you'll be dead before I'm born. Bah!
I don't think an award like Godlike Genius or Lifetime Service Award or anything is relevant to them, because it suggests that it's stopped. And it doesn't look like it ever is going to stop. You know, the point where everybody thought it would end was the mid-90s, when he didn't seem to be able to hold a lineup together. He looked terribly ill, and you really felt like you were living in the last days.
It was turning into a bit of a shambles by this time. I think everybody would admit that. There was a lot of financial trouble the band were in, you know, which was kind of affecting everything. Gigs got cancelled and row in the sound check, and we wouldn't get to the gig, and you know, the writing was on the wall, really, I think, you know. But I don't know why we went to America. It seemed like a good idea at the time.